All righty, good evening and welcome everyone to our March 4th, 2025 meeting of the West Richland City Council. I'll call it to order at 6 p.m. Before we get started, I'll ask Stephanie to read the hybrid meeting ground rules and then call the roll.
Tonight's meeting will be held in person with a virtual meeting component. If you are participating virtually, please make sure the name shown at the bottom of your video view is the name you would like the mayor to use. You can change this by right-clicking on the three dots in the upper corner of your video view and clicking Rename. Audience members present in the council chambers will be called upon first during public comment periods. Those participating remotely should virtually raise your hand if you wish to speak. To virtually raise your hand, click on Participants and then click on Raise Hand. If you are participating by phone only, press *9 to raise your hand. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Roll call. Brent Gary,
Here.
Richard Bloom,
Here.
Fred Brink,
Here, attending remotely.
David Fetto,
Here.
May Hayes,
Here.
Moran,
Present.
John Smart.
Here.
Ben Stoker.
Here.
Thank you. Councilman Stoker, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Stoker. Appreciate it. Council, the agenda is before you. I have one change to the agenda, and that will be the introduction of our interim chief, Chief Crown. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for, the last one. And opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Council. So as I mentioned, we have a new individual in house this evening, and I'm pleasure to welcome Chief Stephen Crown. He's our interim police chief with 33 years of esteemed career in law enforcement. Chief Crown brings a wealth of leadership, experience, and expertise in his role. He began his law enforcement journey with the Wenatchee Police Department in 1991, progressively advancing through the ranks while serving key roles such as gang specialist, detective, field training officer, and bicycle patrol instructor. We've yet to discuss that one. I'm not too sure how much it takes to learn a bicycle, but we'll get to that one later. In 2002, he transitioned to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, where he ultimately rose to the position of Chief of Police in 2013, overseeing 147 commissioned officers and 23 non-commissioned staff. In 2016, he returned to the Wenatchee Police Department as police chief, serving in that capacity until his retirement in March of last year. I look forward to closely working with Chief Crown to maintain the continuity and policy policing and the public safety initiatives as the city moves forward in the efforts to search for a permanent police chief. So with that, Chief Crown, welcome, and you have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I hope to get to know all the council members in short order. It's been 2 days in the job, getting all my passwords sort of remembered, getting through some of the paperwork to onboard me. It's been great to be in the city of West Richland. Staff are great. I'm looking forward to working with them to hopefully build some teams and continue to work hard within the department serving the community. I'm one of those individuals that appreciate being visible within a community, no matter what capacity you're working. And I know that the officers and non-commissioned staff within West Richland Police Department enjoy that aspect of the job as well. I'm excited to be here and happy to serve West Richland in whatever capacity I can. And certainly it is my hope also that in the search for a permanent chief of police that I could assist in any way that I can, so that this city continues with the success that it's grown to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Much appreciated. And council will have Stephanie send out contact information for the chief. So do feel free to reach out. He has an open door policy such as myself. So your input, comments, just to get to know him and maybe share a little bit about your experiences as council members and citizens of the city of West Richland would be appreciated. So thank you. Welcome, Chief. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the consent agenda this evening, which consists of approve the minutes of the regular meeting, February 18th, 2025. Motion to authorize amendment number 1 to herbicide application services contract with Sinsky and Lawn and Tree Service, Tree Care. Motion to authorize the West Richland chief to sign or ratify the interlocal agreement interlocal agency agreement with Washington Traffic Safety Commission, and a motion authorizing the mayor to execute engineering services contract with Geo Engineers regarding well 12R improvement project phase 1. And if there's anyone from the audience who would like to speak to the consent agenda this evening, please come to the podium. I see no one in house. And if you're virtual and like to speak to the consent agenda, raise your virtual hand or *9 by phone to be recognized. I see no one virtually. Stephanie, do you?
I do not.
Very good. With that, we will, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Pardon me? Motion, please. There you
I
go.
move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the first opportunity for citizen public comment. If you'd like to make comment in regards to items not on the agenda this evening, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You're in the house. Seeing no one in house, virtually public comment. Raise your virtual hand or *9 to be recognized. Seeing no one, Stephanie, do you?
I do not know.
Good. Then we will go ahead and move on to ordinances, resolution, motions, and public hearings. Public hearing, item 8A and B is a public hearing and an ordinance regarding the right-of-way vacation of the Public Works Director, Roscoe Slade. He'll present his staff report this evening. Roscoe?
Thank you, Mayor. Council, just to make sure you've got the latest ordinance, there was a revision made on section 1 that added more clarification on where the property is vested. The vacated road right-of-way is vested in the lots 1 and 2 of short plat 2880. So that language was added to that section. So hopefully you have that before you. Council, what you have before you is a petition to vacate road right-of-way. Again, it was dedicated on a short plat 2880. The two applicants and the owner of Riesling Estates, which owns the preliminary plat that was to the south of it, petitioned the city back in January of 2025 requesting that the 30-foot road right-of-way be vacated. Council took passed a resolution setting tonight, March 4th, as the time for a public hearing. As with any vacation of road right-of-way, the property was posted. Notices were sent to all franchise utilities to notify us if they had any utilities within the road right-of-way that was going to be vacated. We did not receive any. The only thing that was received was from our own engineering department about a fire hydrant water service at the west end of the property to retain a water easement, and then also to retain some access easement off the end of this roadway, so they have a turnaround for a fire truck turnaround at the end of that cul-de-sac to those two properties. As part of the vacation, council is to ensure the conditions of West Richland Municipal Code 1240.05 to ensure that these conditions have been met, that it would allow council to vacate the road right-of-way without compensation. Again, this was not fee simple right-of-way. It was dedicated as part of a short plat, so it was at no cost to the city. So staff's recommendation is that council vacate the road right-of-way, condition on retaining the water easement and the access easement without requiring compensation. This one's a little unique because the property owners executed an agreement agreeing to this already. So that was also included in your packet. So they did a little foresight to make sure. And so currently, the access is through Riesling Estates, which council approved the final plat on December 3rd council meeting. So they have a city street that comes back. There's a cul-de-sac that goes back into their properties. So the 30-foot road right of way is no longer needed. So what you have before you is a recommendation to approve it as conditioned.
Thank you, Roscoe. I will go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:11. If you'd like to make comment on this agenda item, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one in house, we'll move virtually. If anyone virtually would like to make comment to this agenda item, please raise your virtual hand or *9 by phone to be recognized. I see no one virtually. Stephanie, do you?
Not.
And close the public hearing at 6:11. Ordinance 0525, consider vacation of 30-foot road right away along southern boundary of short plat 2880. Do I have a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 0525 vacating the 30-foot road right of way along the southern border of short plat. Southern border of short plat 2880, condition on the city retaining an access easement described in Exhibit C and shown in Exhibit D, and retaining a water utility easement described in Exhibit E and shown in Exhibit F.
Second.
Second, council, any questions of Roscoe that weren't previously answered in his staff report? Commissioner, Councilmember Smart?
Hey, Roscoe, just wondering, since this land will be vacated, the easement's vacated, do we know what's going to happen to that property? Are they going to extend those lots back to the north, or do we know?
So the vacated road right of way was dedicated to the city from short plat 2880. So those two lots, it was solely from their property. So they're the underlying vested. So it will go 100% to the properties to the north.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Councilmember Moran?
Thank you. Yes. Roscoe, I'm wondering, you said that the updated version should say what in section 1? I downloaded this from the website just now.
So when it's talking about in section 1, it's about the middle of the thing is hereby vacated and the road right of way so vacated is hereby surrendered. All rights of the title of the city of West Richland and part and the public in that portion of said right of way so vacated shall and does hereby vest in the owners of the budding property owners. The language was added lots 1 and 2 of short plat 2880 and all in manner provided by law. So it makes it clear who the vacated road right of way vests back into.
Okay, that is not currently on the website version that I just downloaded it in the packet.
There's an updated version. I just downloaded it.
And you're both one step ahead of me.
So apparently it is where it's supposed to be, and so that's all good. Is that all, Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Appreciate it. Item 8C is an ordinance amending the 2025-2026 biennial budget. And with that, I'll ask our finance director, Erin Glenn, to present her staff report this evening. Erin?
All right. Thank you, Mayor Gary. Good evening, council and citizens. This evening, I'm presenting the first budget amendment of the 25-26 biennial budget. The majority of the items in this amendment are cleanup or true-up items. The finance department is 99% complete closing out fiscal year 2024. And this budget amendment includes a beginning balance true-up for every single fund. So also being trued up are budgets for ongoing projects. We have several projects and grants, some police, one community development, but the majority are public works projects that began in the previous biennium that will continue into the 25-26 biennium. When we created the budget last summer and fall, we estimated the amount of carryover for projects. This amendment trues up each of those. There are 3 items in this amendment that are not true up or carryover related. The first is recognizing general fund revenue from the Frank Teagues LLC and the Lewis and Clark Master Planning Services in the amount of $484,795 and appropriating the same amount for the Burke contract associated with that. These agreements were approved by council earlier this year in January. The other 2 new items are for 2 public works projects, involve 301 REIT 1 fund and the 355 Transportation Improvement Fund. The first project is for a Keene Road South Highlands intersection modification project. This amendment recognizes revenue in Fund 355 in the amount of $782,000 for TIB state grant and $138,000 as a transfer from Fund 301. This amendment appropriates a total of $920,000 for the project. The second project is for the Keene Road subgrade and pump intake project. The revenue being recognized for this project is $800,000 as a transfer in from Fund 301. The appropriations for this project are $1,038,076. The remaining $238,076 is available from fund balance. Staff recommends passing the attached ordinance. This amendment authorizes an increase in the 25-26 appropriations in the amount of $12,262,876 and an increase in total resources in the amount of $19,567,184, bringing the revised budget to a total of $152,746,642.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that. Is there anyone from the audience who'd like to speak to this agenda item this evening? Seeing no one in the audience this evening to speak to that agenda item virtually, raise your virtual hand or *9 to be recognized to comment on the agenda item this evening. Seeing no one virtually, Stephanie, do you?
I do not see any hands, no.
Thank you. Council, may I have a motion, please?
Pass ordinance 0625, amending the City of West Richland 2025-2026 biennial budget.
Second.
Motion and a second. Council, any questions of Aaron that wasn't previously addressed in her staff report? Seeing no one, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, council. We do not have any unfinished business nor new business this evening, so that's what brings us to our second opportunity for citizen public comment. If you'd like to provide comment to council, please come to the podium to state your name and address for the record. We'll start with in-house. See no one in-house, and virtually *9 or raise your virtual hand to be recognized. *9 by phone. I see no one virtually. Stephanie, do you? Okay, very good. Then we'll go ahead and move on to staff council announcements, reports, and comments. Any staff members have anything to report out this evening? All right, Aaron.
So in this month's utility insert, the city scene, we have notice out for a citizen group, an advisory group that we're looking at forming for looking at our finances, our budget. We had a pretty big shortfall in the general fund, and we're looking for ways for recommendation for the mayor to look at our finances and what to do.
So, it's important for us to get citizen input in regards to some of the challenges that we have here. And so we're gonna do something similar to what we did with the library, as well as the bond for the police station. Put that citizen group in front of the staff and go through some of the challenges that we have citywide, and get some input from our citizens and see what options and directions they may have an idea of, and take those certainly into consideration as we bring things back to council for action. So very good. Thank you, Aaron, for that. I appreciate it. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I believe that we have a survey up online right now. So the annual survey that we've done over the last several years is back up. So we are doing that throughout the month of March. Sorry, I've been out for the last couple of weeks getting some surgery done. But so thankfully, Stephanie's helped me out with that and making sure that our consultant, Ron, as you guys remember, he helped us again this year to get the survey together. And so it will be going out asking very much the same questions that we've been asking over the last several years to kind of have a baseline from when we started 3 years ago to kind of tell us how we're doing and how we're progressing over this time. So by the end of this month, he'll have all of that data captured, and I'll be able to share that out the first week in April to council and be able to get that information out to the public as well. So last year's is up online. You can go back and see all the responses that we received. If you want the year prior, I think there's a way to get that too. So there's some historical data there that's great and helpful to understand how we're doing as a city, what things we need to improve on as a city, and answers a lot of those questions for us. So go online, tell everyone about it, share it out, make sure that residents of the city are taking that survey so that we can get their feedback.
Thank you, Eric. Moving on to council, we have Councilmember Bloom up.
Happy Mardi Gras. Those of you in the audience, you all enjoyed a nice, fresh, and I mean fresh king cake. And I believe it was a success this year as compared to other years. If for those of you that don't know what Mardi Gras is, it's the Fat Tuesday. It's a Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, which is the start of Lent. So the whole aspect is eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you're supposed to fast. So anyway, two things. I attended the ribbon cutting at Frank and Sons, and really a nice facility they have built. It was very impressive. And secondly, I want to bring up the 58th Street sinkhole. And it is down almost 1.5 feet. The mud is subsiding significantly. And this is not water, this is groundwater taking it. So it is, the flood is coming, or the levee is breaking. Being from New Orleans, I'm more used to that. So I don't know if you got somebody out there, but there have been several cars that just sink into the mud and go up to their hubs and get dragged out. So I just bring that up. It's a serious something. I believe I have some suggestions of how to fix it, coming from Louisiana and driving through bogs.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Fetto.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Councilmember Bloom, for the king cake. So in 40 days, when Lent is over, the West Richland Chamber is bringing back the Easter egg hunt. Took a year off last year when Fire District 4 couldn't, staffing was low. So Chamber is taking it over. We are moving it to Flat Top Park. That will be a permanent change. We have access to the Flat Top Flex space. So we're gonna be doing some indoor stuff, pancake feed with the Lions Club, face painting, pictures. We'll have a DJ, music, but that is on Saturday, April 19th, day before Easter. Flat Top Park, I think it starts at 10, goes until probably 2, with these added festivities we're gonna be doing. But so when you're done with Lent, come on out and hunt some Easter eggs and have some candy.
Councilman, appreciate it. Councilmember Moran.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Mayor Pro Tem Brink is going to be discussing the AWC City Actions event that we were both able to attend on the 19th through the 21st, but that was a really good event. We were able to visit with all of our state representatives and our senators. Well, I was able to meet with the 8th and the 16th. So we got that taken care of. And then on the 21st, I was able to remote in on the Benton Franklin Council of Governments meeting. And we did approve the new Call for Projects guidebook. So hopefully, if that hasn't come out, it will very soon so that we can keep an eye on that. I will say that on the 18th, if we do have a council meeting, I will not be able to attend because I will be in transport somewhere between Ireland and here. So won't be back until late that night. So Aaron Gubra.
Safe travels. Any other council members other than Mayor Pro Tem Brink this evening? Mayor Pro Tem Brink, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'm attending remotely as I am on travel for some Benton County Fire District 4 business for the next day or two. But I just wanted to follow up with what Councilmember Moran said with regard to AWC Action Days. There were over 400 local mayors, council members attending that event. And we did have very productive meetings with our 8th and 16th district representatives. Councilmember Moran covered the 16th district representatives as I was occupied with other demands that day, but we met jointly with our 8th district reps. Next week, I will be in Washington, D.C. I will be attending the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference in my role as AWC Vice President. I do have meetings set up with Senators Murray, Cantwell, Representative Newhouse, and there are other meetings with our U.S. representatives in Congress. So I'm looking forward to that. There will be over 120 Washington local elected officials there. However, I stand out as I am the only one from the Quad Cities that is able to make that. And then lastly, I had the opportunity to sit down with the mayor, the two commanders, and our HR manager, Ms. Smathers, and with Chief Crown yesterday for about 2.5 hours as he was briefed on the West Richland Police Department. I was very much impressed with his engagement with the individuals there, his leadership style, his experience, and his vision for the next 6 months. So I want to personally welcome you, Chief Crown. I know you're going to be a great fit for the city, and please, council, myself in particular will do anything we can to support you, but I know my fellow council members will as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Brink. Appreciate it. All right. So with that, we do not have any executive session this evening, so we will go ahead and conclude our council meeting at 6:28. Thank you, council and citizens.